Hello? In this video, we would like to show the feature of keeping quantitative accounting of medications, consumables, and other inventory, as well as the possibility of automatic write-off of consumables upon completion of a patient's appointment. To start with, it should be said that the system has two options of stock accounting, and one of them you will have to choose for your branch. These are a single warehouse option and many warehouse cabinets option. Let's start with the simpler option. Single warehouse. It is not suitable for large organizations, as it provides for one shared warehouse for the entire clinic and does not require a storekeeper position. Organizing any type of warehouse starts with creating a complete list of medications and supplies that are used in the clinic. To do this, go to Warehouse and select the Consumables section. On the left, we see a list of pre-created categories of consumables, which can be viewed and edited if necessary. To add a new category, click the Add button and enter its name on the right. Hemostatics, and create the entire list of drugs that are used in your clinic. Each consumable should have a name and an ID number. If you don't use ID numbers in your accounting, enter a random value in this field. You will also have to provide the consumables measurement units and their minimum quantity in stock. When the entire list is compiled, you will be able to process the receipt of these consumables into the clinic's warehouse. In the appropriate item in the warehouse section, click on Accept Consumables. In the list, select the ones you need and click Apply. As you can see, they are added to the receipt certificate. Now we specify the quantity of the consumable and its price. Then you need to specify the supplier or select it from the list that is created automatically. Click Receive Consumables, and you will see that in the archive of incoming consumables, there is a newly created certificate, which can be printed with a couple of clicks. The consumables accepted to the warehouse, as well as those that are already in your clinic, are displayed in the Availability item of the Consumable Warehouse section. Here you can specify their quantity, as well as view the entire history of the movement of any consumable in your clinic, with the certificates confirming their receipt or write-off. Let's talk about how you generate consumable write-off certificates. For this, go to the appropriate item and click on Write-off Consumables from the Warehouse. Select the required consumables from the list, specify the quantity, and, on the right, briefly explain the reason for the write-off, for example, breakage during unloading or expiration. If necessary, you can leave a comment. Then confirm the action and see the newly created certificate, which can also be printed out for signature. Now it's time to discuss the automatic write-off of consumables after an appointment. To apply this feature, you need to activate it in the Services and Prices tab and add to each service a list of consumables that are used during its execution. Let's see how it works. Create an appointment and add to the list of services root canal treatment, for example. After the appointment is completed, we can see that above the protocol, there is a button Consumable Disposal. Clicking on it opens the write-off certificate with an automatically compiled list of consumables spent. Here you can change the amount of this consumable or add another one if necessary. On the right, you can see the medical specialists involved in the appointment and the patient. You can also add a comment. After that, click Write Off Consumables and see how next to the Expenditure button there is a green check mark, which indicates that the consumables are written off. The entire archive of write-off certificates can be found in the corresponding section of the Warehouse tab. In the course of the clinic operation, the consumables will be gradually spent, and someday their quantity will reach a critical value. That's why when adding each item, we specify its minimum amount in the warehouse, and when that amount is reached, this consumable will appear in the Requires Refilling section. For easy ordering, click on the desired item and you will see the supplier's contacts, as well as the cost of products at the time of last delivery. Now, let's discuss how the option with many warehouse cabinets works. If you run a large clinic, and it's easier for you to organize your work so that each office has its own storage, and doctors and assistants control the amount of consumables in their offices themselves, Then, when purchasing a management system for a branch, select Many Warehouse Cabinets in the Storage option field. The management of this type of storage largely corresponds to what we described when we talked about the single warehouse option. Next, step by step. First, we create the entire list of medications and consumables used by the clinic and formalize their receipt at the main warehouse. Main warehouse is a structural unit headed by a stock custodian who orders consumables for the clinic, as well as provides them to the doctors in their offices according to their needs. Let's model the situation. A doctor comes to the warehouse with a list of consumables that they need at the office Tvigar 301. The head of the main warehouse, in this case, selects the item Transfer, presses the button Transfer Consumables, specifies their quantity, selects office storeroom number 301 from the list, leaves a comment, for example, transferred at the request of the therapist, Jack Benz, and then confirms the action. In turn, the doctor, having received all the consumables they needed, confirms their transfer in their profile. To do this, they need to go to the Office Storerooms section, select their storeroom, and click on Receipt and Confirm. After that, the consumables that were transferred to the office storeroom will appear in the availability section of this office. If the certificate, for some reason, was not processed correctly, the doctor can choose Reject, which will automatically return the consumables to the main warehouse. I would like to add that the consumables stored in the main warehouse cannot be written off at the end of the appointment automatically. For this purpose, there are office storerooms managed by doctors. The mechanism of automatic write-off of consumables at the end of appointments is the same as for the single warehouse option. The main thing is to specify the correct office during appointment registration so that the consumables are written off from the right storage. In office storerooms, as well as in the main warehouse, there is an item that indicates the availability of consumables, where you can view the entire history of their movement with supporting certificates. In Receipt, we can see the archive of everything that was transferred to the warehouse. In order to view the certificates of consumable write-off, including after appointments, select the appropriate item. And if for some reason you need to transfer consumables to another office, click Transfer and do it in the previously described way. In order to understand how much of a certain consumable is left in all clinic warehouses, go to the remaining stock section, click on the necessary item, and you will see where and in what quantity this consumable is stored. By applying the filter Running Out, you will see the list of the consumables to restock. This feature will allow the clinic administration to make sure that consumables are always there and in the right amount. In conclusion, we would like to remind you that Amex's Dent Warehouse Accounting has a mechanism of automatic generation of all possible certificates of availability, receipt, transfer, and write-off of consumables showing all actors of these processes, which allows the clinic management to fully control the movement of expensive medications and other property of the clinic. Thank you for your attention. If you have any difficulties in using the control system, please contact our support team, and we will be happy to help you.